All right, good evening, everyone. We'll now call the meeting to order. First item is confirmation of quorum. Clerk, do we have quorum?
We do have quorum.
Okay. Next item is declaration of conflicts of interest. Do we have any of those this evening? Mark? Okay, and you've already submitted your form, so. Okay, so the next item up is the adoption of tonight's agenda. Everybody had a chance to look at the agenda. No edits or amendments required. Okay, it would now take a mover to adopt the agenda. Do we have a mover?
I'll move. I'll second.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we ready for the question? We'll now proceed with the vote. All those in favor of adopting the agenda for tonight's meeting, show your consent by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carried. Okay, so next up is the adoption of the minutes from the May 15th regular meeting. Any edits or amendments required for those minutes? Okay, do we have a mover to adopt the minutes? Do we have a seconder?
I'll second.
Are we ready for the question? We'll now proceed with the vote. All those in favor of adopting the May 15th minutes, show your consent by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Okay, so our next item is questions from the public. Clerk Downey, do we have any questions from the public?
There are no questions.
Okay. I'm going to assume that our attendee does not have any questions for us, so we'll, okay. Next up, we have petitions, requests, or delegations. Anything under that item?
I have nothing.
Okay. Oh, I gotta get my list out for this one. So next up, we have council member reports. So we'll start with Councillor Esty.
I have no report.
Okay. Councillor Jean Gras?
So,
Oh.
is this on?
You have to click your mic.
Your person, yep,
And you have to make sure that it's on red.
there you go.
Okay. So I had the opportunity to attend an announcement in Chandoré, and the mayor was also there. They are building a 60-bed nursing home in Chandoré, and it got me thinking about how they're keeping some of their seniors in their community. And so when I think about, how our own residents, when they age, do they get to enjoy the way of life that we keep talking about? And so this was further emphasized to me by a resident who was very excited about the Urban Rural Rides initiative. However, when she called, she requires a scooter to get around, and of course, this is a volunteer-based program. So, people who have wheelchairs or scooters, they're often excluded from these programs. And I guess what ends up happening is many of our seniors end up leaving our community in order to get to be closer to services in the city or to be just closer to nursing home care. And I know someone had mentioned that their relative had recently left to Moncton to be in a nursing home. So we're losing some of our longtime residents who have given us the way of life that we have. And I know a lot of us hear this. We've heard this when we went door to door, from seniors who don't. They want to see services, but they don't want to pay for those services either. So I'm not saying that we should have, we should be building nursing homes everywhere, but we should actually be considering what is it that our seniors need. And apart from the one-offs that we hear from residents, we really don't know. And so I want to work with council and I want to work with the mayor in finding out what our seniors need. And I know that Riverview and other communities, they go through needs assessments for their seniors. And I'm wondering if that might be, as we're going through a strategic planning exercise, if we try and discover what it is that our seniors need before we determine our priorities. Thank you.
Councillor Murray?
There you go. Yeah, good now. I just want to say congratulations to all the grads in the area, whether it's Moncton High or Odyssey, which are kind of or Tremble for the attending high schools in the area. So congratulations to all of them on their graduations, the proms, everything else. It's been quite a few years since any of us, I think, were in that situation, but I know it was kind of a joyous one way back in the day. So, but that's pretty much all I got to say.
Councillor Savoy?
I don't have a written report to submit, although I just want to report I just did a visual inspection in one of the problem areas in my ward, and I don't know when it happened but it's a lot cleaner. I'm talking about Pansec Junction Road, and lights are on in the tunnel, and the side of the road after the tunnel has been cleaned. I'm assuming maybe by CN because they've done some clearing. They had machinery by the tracks, and so on the side of the track, it's a lot. The overgrowth is a lot less dense. On the other side, it's another story, but I think major improvement in that area.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now my report. So great news about the seniors complex in St. Antoine. Thanks, Councillor Jean Grau, for that update. The tourism committee has met a couple times this month, and it's still working on the Southeast Region campaign. It's a work in progress. Everyone stay tuned though, because some of the draft images of in some of the drafts for it, there were images of Maple Hills used in the campaign, so we might have some nice shots in there. Last week, the Public Safety Committee meeting met. Tri-County Ground Search and Rescue did a presentation. In their presentation, they indicated that they, for the most part, are privately or self-funded, and they're run by volunteers, and they have to raise approximately 90% of their own operating budget. They've begun asking municipalities for funding. They aren't asking for set amounts. It's more of an anything helps approach. And I was given a contact, and they'd like to do a presentation in the fall for council so that we can better understand what they do, because it is a lot more than we think. So they are going to approach us in the fall to come and have a chat. The EMO department has started a separate committee, and they're working on a regional emergency plan. Our CAO actually sits on this committee. This plan will take a lot of the work out of the plan for individual municipalities. It'll be designed so that we can adjust it for our specific needs in Maple Hills. So it'll kind of be like a template that we can just adjust as we need. And there's also options in there for shared services in the emergency of an event. So they're going to draft some ideas behind, if you had an emergency, what options we would have. So there's more to come on that as it progresses. The RCMP gave an update. They've gotten the reports modified, and their next report will show the new municipalities. So previously, we didn't have the ability to see Maple Hills as an entity. The new reports will have that. They also include number of patrols in the area for the quarter, so it'll help us better understand the service we're getting. One of the things the Public Safety Committee talked about was when people say the police aren't in our area, they're not in our neighborhood. When you're in a rural area, you almost have to be looking out the window when they drive by to know they've been there. So this will kind of give us an idea if they're, how often they are around. We also learned that the Shediac detachment, which services areas of Ward 3, has 21 positions, but with vacancies and leaves for injury and illness, they only have 13 active officers. So they actually are running, with they're 8 officers short in Shediac. Caledonia has 27 positions with the new positions that were provided by the province. They only have 19 currently active officers. So they actually reported that they have all their vacancies filled, but they're waiting for transfers or training to be completed. So they have all their hires, but they're not there yet. They have to transfer from other municipalities or finish their training. So yeah, they have more coming, which is good, but I guess we all have to be mindful that obviously they're running without all hands on deck. And the update from the fire department was that they're actively reviewing options to determine the new dispatch system they will use. There is a phasing out of the system they were using. Some departments have switched and some are still deciding, so they're discussing the pros and cons to make their final decision. The old system is still active and there's no gaps in the service. It's just an item that needs to be addressed, so our chair asked for an update. And next Thursday, Maple Hills was invited to attend a forestry meeting, so thanks to Councillor Jean Gras and Deputy Mayor Martin for agreeing to attend this. And this will be our last meeting until August 13th, when we have our next Committee of the Whole meeting. So I hope everyone enjoys some summer vacation and nice weather until then. Okay. All right, so next up, we have bylaws, motions, and resolutions. And the first item is the rezoning application. And so if Mark, if you want to, sorry, Councillor Savoy, if you would like to.
So we don't forget.
Okay. So Clerk Downey?
Perfect. So we do have an update on the application. Council was notified, or the CAO was notified on June 14th from Plan 360 that the rezoning application for Gorge Road Quarry has been withdrawn. And just for the record, that is file number 231053. So there's nothing further to do on this file. The application's been withdrawn, so there's no action required from council. I'm not sure, Phil, if you have anything to add, probably not, no? No. Okay. Perfect.
So I guess, does anybody have any questions on that item, since we have Phil here? So I do, Phil. Sorry, I'll let you get there. So do they have a plan, like, are they coming back with something different? Have they indicated that they're just?
Not
That's it.
officially, I don't have the details. I think they've caught wind of what way the council was leaning, and they just decided to abandon the rezoning.
Okay, so they don't have like a different, they're gonna come back?
That's
with a different-
not that
okay.
I know, yeah.
Not that you're aware of? Okay,
Okay.
okay, no, that's.
Thank you.
Oh, Councillor Jean Gras?
Sorry, Phil. So can they still go to the province and get this approved, or do they still have to go through council for it?
Ultimately, an operation on the property in question would be dependent on the Maple Hills Council to approve a rezoning, so they can't go above the council if that's what you're asking.
Yeah,
So this was the step one before going to the province for their approval.
okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Anybody else? Okay, thanks for coming, Phil.
And I'll just add too, and in order for another rezoning for a same file to be applied for again, there's a 1-year timeline. So there's this mechanism already in your rural plan that you can't just keep applying for the same request. So there has to be something new or a different request. So this request can't be continually entertained. So
Okay, so
just-
they would have to start over if they decided to?
Yes, they would have to start completely over. no matter
Okay,
what.
and do
Yeah.
they have to, well, because they withdrew, they probably don't have to wait any amount of time, is that right?
No,
Like, they could start again next week if they chose to?
no, they have to wait 1 year.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay,
Okay,
thanks.
thank you.
Okay. So next item on the list is, oh, sorry, yes, right.
That's the fastest I've ever got back in from this one. Mark's like, I'm using this for an hour.
I told him to walk to the end and come back.
Didn't even get time to do that.
The last.
Okay, so the next item up is 11B, grants.
Okay, so the Good Deed Divas had made an application for a community grant in the amount of $500 to fund community events. The application was reviewed by our staff, and they've provided a recommendation to council to provide a $250 grant to assist them with getting this sort of newly established group off the ground. So recommendation is to make a $250 donation, or sorry, a $250 commitment for that grant.
Any questions on this item? Okay, Counselor Esty?
It's not a question, it's a comment. I'd be good with the 250.
Okay, anybody else? Counselor Jean Gras?
Did they, I just want clarification, maybe you said it. Did they ask for 500 or, okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Counselor Savoy?
In their application, I'm sorry, did they indicate that we're the sole provider of funds for the activities?
They didn't mention it in the, it's not mentioned either way in their application.
Anyone else? So, and I think, just for clarity for everyone in the room, I think the other part of that, which we discussed at the committee of the whole meeting, is that the money will be given to the St. Philip Golden Age Club to disperse on behalf.
That's right.
Okay. Okay, so do we have any further questions on this item? Okay, so, do we have someone prepared to read the motion for this item? Counselor Savoy?
Be it resolved that council grants the following grant for spring 2024 as per the grant policy P07, an amount of $250 be given to Good Deed Divas paid to the Saint Philippe Club d'Âge d'Or.
Okay, do we have a seconder on this motion? Counselor Murray? Are we ready for the question? We'll now proceed with the vote. All those in favor of awarding the Good Deeds Divas $250 grant, show your consent by saying yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried.
Perfect, thank you.
So the next item on the agenda is the RCMP.
Okay, so currently, council's aware that the agreement for the RCMP within the boundaries of Maple Hills is administered by the Department of Environment and Local Government. In order for the council to have more control over the cost allocations within our 5 taxation areas, we have the option to assume the administration and the payment to the PPSA, the Provincial Policing Service Agreement. Just as a reminder, Mayor Warren had sent a letter to the Minister of Local Government bringing to light the request that the services provided by the minister be a shared cost across the taxing authorities, and that over the past 2 years that has not been what came about, even though it was requested. Now there's very little confidence that this request again to equalize the rates would be withheld. Although a response was received from the minister, we're feeling a little left unsatisfied with the suggestion to merge the subunits where we currently have local services, i.e. power for the streetlights. This would be problematic. So it is the recommendation of the CAO for the Maple Hills Rural Community to assume the administration and payment of the PPSA.
So do we have any questions on this item, comments? Okay. So it would now take a motion to move on this particular item. Do I have a mover? Okay. Oh. Councillor Jean Gras?
Be it resolved that starting for the 2025 fiscal budget year, that the Maple Hills Rural Community assumes the administration and payment of the Provincial Policing Service Agreement, PPSA, services from the Department of Environment and Local Government within its local government boundaries.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder on this motion? Second. Councillor Esty? Are we ready for the question? We'll now proceed with the vote. All those in favor of for the 2025 fiscal budget year, assuming administration of payment for the PPSA. Show your consent by saying yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried.
What's that, sorry? So I assume there may be a follow-up, there might be a formality to actually take over the agreement, so
Okay.
Eve will keep us updated on that.
Okay, so the next item on our agenda is number 11D, lease agreements.
Okay, so this one's straightforward. We have lease agreements for the Maple Hills Rural Community and the Irishtown Community Center Board, lease agreement and property management agreement with TH Sports Group Incorporated.
Okay, do we have, excuse me, a motion to move on this item of lease agreements?
I'll move. Whereas on October 18th, 2023, council approved the signed memorandum of understanding between Maple Hills, Irishtown Community Center, Inc., and TH Sports Group, Inc., and the council approved the purchase and sale agreement to acquire the property located at 2603 Route 115 in Irishtown, New Brunswick. Be it resolved that council approve the signed lease agreement with the Irishtown Community Center, Inc. Be it further resolved that the council approve the signed lease and property management agreement with TH Sports Group, Inc.
Do we have a seconder on this motion? Councillor Savoy. Are we ready for the question? We'll now proceed with the vote. All those in favor of adopting the lease agreements as so moved by Councillor Murray, show your consent by saying yes. Opposed, no. Motion carried. All right, so next up we have unfinished business. Clerk.
There is no unfinished business.
Okay, well, with all that said, it would now take a motion to adjourn our meeting. Councillor Esty? All right, have a great July, guys.